Sup witches, it's Myri. Thanks so much for joining me today. Those of you who know me likely know me through my Etsy store, Wild Woman Witchcrafts, which if I can figure it out will be viewable via the link below. Leave it to someone who's super technically incompetent to make a first ever video during Mercury retrograde. It's just me, I guess. Anyway, I've had a couple of requests through Instagram to do some sort of video content, so this is me attempting to do that. In the interest of full disclosure, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing, so this will be a fun experiment for us all. So, I recently, as in like the day before yesterday, got back from an epic road trip with my wife down to see my parents in Florida. We live in Michigan, so it was quite a jaunt. And I actually don't love like tropical climates. I'm more of like a chilly, mountainy, foresty gal. But I did have the opportunity to visit a lot of super rad antique stores, and I picked up some cool doodads for the store, and so I thought I would do a little bit of a like witchy haul video and give you a sneak peek at some of the things that might be included in upcoming altar kits and that sort of a thing. And then also just a couple of things that I got for myself because I think they're really cool and I'd like to share them. So anyway, I'm just going to jump into it. My workspace is just kind of littered with stuff that I brought home. So yeah, here we go. This is not a huge deal, but I found these two like giant abalone shells in an antique store. And I personally, I'm a vegetarian, so anything that is an animal byproduct, I prefer to buy secondhand. That's not at all intended to be preachy, like if you eat meat or wear leather or whatever, I'm not judging. It's just a personal preference. So to find these vintage was really cool, and also you don't often see the abalone shells with like the pronounced spiral on the outside, so like this one especially is very cool. And yeah, I love that they're vintage. You'll probably hear me say a bunch of times that I prefer to like have things in my life that I'm kind of a part of its story rather than it being a part of mine. So yeah, but fear not, everything vintage that I buy or include in a kit or whatever, I smudge with sage prior to shipment, so you don't have to worry about any negative energy, that sort of thing. So that's my first purchase. Second, okay, so I found this really cool, like, hi kitty. Pardon the rustling, my cat is, he's decided to join us. Hey bud, you want to come say hi? You want to say hi to the viewers? Come here. Come here. This is Knox. He's a handsome little kitty gentleman. And that's my dog being jealous that I'm talking to the cat. That's Sparks. I have a house full of critters. Anyway, so one of my favorite things about altar kits is the actual vessel that everything's contained inside. And so whenever I find interesting boxes, I like to pick them up. And I found this one in an antique store and loved it. It's this really interesting, like, shield shape. You can see my computer. Hey! And it's silver plated. It's by Wilcox Silver Plate, made in the USA. It even has a serial number. And I actually got something that would be really cool included in this. And my intention for this box specifically is for everything to be kind of on theme. So like everything will be either silver or silver plated inside. So like silver chalice, silver bell, silver tone, athame, that sort of a thing. So also I don't know if you'll be able to see it because of the glare from my computer, but it has like this really beautiful kind of like ivy engraving all around the edge and then like in an oval shape as well. So that was a really cool find and it's in really good condition for the age. So that will be a part of a kit that will be on the store soon. Next, actually, where did I put that one? I feel like okay. So this I'm not gonna sell, and I apologize in advance because it's so cool. But I have a thing for altar bells. I really like to incorporate sound into my practice. And so my wife found it, and I literally squealed in the middle of the store and got some weird looks from people, but it's this antique figural bell. It looks like this little Puritan woman, which I thought was amazing because I have ancestral ties to the Salem witch trials. So I thought it would be really appropriate for my ancestral altar. And I love it so much. So I'm sorry again. I'm not meaning to like dangle it in front of anybody. I just wanted to share it with people who could also appreciate its awesomeness. So yeah, that's my new altar bell. And along the same lines, I did get another bell to include on the store. This one I think will just be a standalone item. It's just an antique brass bell with a unicorn figure on the top. If I can... The lighting is terrible in here. Sorry. But I knew that someone would appreciate it. And so that will be listed on the store soon as well. I'm intending on, after filming this video, I'm going to start photographing everything for the store. So this is just a little item that will probably be included in an altar kit. But it's a chime candle holder that'll fit, you know, kind of the standard little spell candles, like the little tapers you see in metaphysical stores. It's surprisingly heavy. Like, I run across small brass candle holders pretty frequently, you know, in all of my exploration. This does have a maker's mark, but I can't really tell what it says. It looks kind of like YTM, maybe? VTM? I don't know. And then there's also another hallmark to the side. You probably won't be able to see it, but I'll show it to you. Anything? I don't know. This camera kind of sucks, so... but it's unusual to see these little candle holders with a wax catcher, and I thought that that would be cool for someone who likes to use their wax melts for divination and that sort of a thing. So, yeah, that'll probably be included in a kit. And then something else that will probably be included in an altar kit. I love items, especially for travel altars, that serve... Sorry for the sound effects. That serve more than one purpose. So I found this little engraved brass bell from India attached to a pair of kind of interesting looking tongs that I thought would be useful for like charcoal discs or something like that. And it has a nice little sound to it. And again, I just thought it was really unusual. I hadn't seen something like that before. So that will be included in an altar kit as well. Or, you know, I haven't put together the kits yet. So I'm going to just be listing the things, like the standalone items. If you see anything that interests you, feel free to reach out to me prior to my listing it in a kit, and I can, you know, I'm happy to like let it go and sell it directly. Anyway, next up, I got a couple of candle snuffers, and I do have a client that's actively looking for an antique candle snuffer, so I can't guarantee that these will be on the store, because I intend on reaching out to her with these to give her a choice if she hasn't already found one. But, so, I love the look of antique brass pieces, like engraved brass pieces from India. I just think they have a really cool feel. And this is an engraved, you probably can't see the detail very well, an engraved candle snuffer with a really cool spiral handle. And it does have some enamel work as well. I just thought it was really pretty and delicate, and so that one may be on the store. And similarly, I got this candle snuffer, and it looks like at one point it had a maker's mark or some kind of insignia on the inside, but it's been used since, and so you can't really read it. But it had a little, like, finger handle hole thing, and I thought that that was cool. I don't often see them like that, and I loved the shape of the snuffer itself. Has like that cool little finial on top. So that one, this may be included in a kit if it's not sold to that particular client. So next is another item that I just got for myself, so it won't be listed. On days like today, actually, when my hair doesn't behave, I typically wear a hair scarf. And I was in a vintage store and I just found this. It's just like a sheer black chiffon scarf with metallic gold crescent moons and stars. I thought it was very mystical and witchy, and I will love to wear that on my head. Maybe with some like cool dangly earrings or something. But yeah. So along the same lines as accessories, I picked up this vintage necklace. I don't often sell... So obviously on Etsy, everything you sell is either vintage or handmade. So I don't often have a lot of accessories or jewelry to sell just because they're harder to come by that are vintage, but I found this in an antique store and I just kind of loved it. So it's a really heavy piece. It's nice and weighty. It's all tiger's eye, if you can see that. And it's attached to these suede cords, so it's fully adjustable. The cords are quite long, so it can be worn really low or pretty high. It can be worn as like a headband. It can be wrapped as like a really thick bracelet. It's really versatile. And tiger's eye is great for a number of purposes. It's good for prosperity. It's good for attracting wealth. It's good for strength and confidence, you know, that kind of tie into the solar plexus chakra. So this will probably be listed as well. I'm tempted to keep it, although for some reason, and I have no idea why, because I haven't met anyone else who's had this problem, sometimes wearing tiger's eye for me can make me feel like agitated. I don't know if it's just because I have so much fire in my chart and it's like overboard or what, but so yes, this will probably be listed as well. And I thought I had more. I don't have a ton. So I got a set of 4. I was really excited about these, especially because they're all solid. Like usually when you find a chalice, it's like a cup screwed like to a handle, but these are little silver-plated chalices. They were probably at one time a set of cordial glasses or something like that, but they're the perfect size for an altar. Aside, you know, excluding like a micro altar, if you wanted one in an Altoid tin or something, it obviously wouldn't fit in there, but these would be really great for a travel altar. And also they fit inside the silver box I showed you earlier. So little matching chalice for that box. So that was a great find as well. This one is just a very typical purchase. You've likely seen these before. It's just a little brass incense box from India. You put your incense cone inside and then close it, and the smoke comes through the little like punched holes in the brass. So that will likely be included in a kit as well. This one's not terribly exciting. It's just a shell bangle. I got it because it's large. Like, I have really big hands and wrists, and I've heard from other people that they have trouble finding bangles for the same reason. So I figured in the interest of providing kind of bohemian or witchy accessories to other gals who aren't like itty bitty, you know, yeah, I thought I'd list that. It'll only be a couple of dollars when I do. I just like to be able to kind of share the wealth, you know. So there's that. And I am rapidly running through this stuff. I thought I had more. Oh, I do actually have one more thing in my bedroom now that I'll have to go and get. Okay, so as I mentioned, I really like incorporating sound into my practice, and so I found this antique miniature gong from India, and it has that kind of like engraved brass motif as well. Maybe you can see that as just kind of like a botanical pattern, and it sounds more like a chime than a gong. Like there's not much reverb, but I do like it. I think it's cool and unique, you know, kind of different than like the bells and like the hand chimes and stuff that I typically list. So that will be listed on the store as well. And let's see, I have a couple more things and then I have to run and get something from my bedroom, which is another thing that I'm keeping. But so I also love finding crystal and stone specimens in unexpected places, like in antique stores. I don't know, it just kind of feels like finding treasure or something. And I found this piece in an antique store, and it has several minerals contained within it. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but it's got either, and I'll have to identify it better before listing, but it has either pyrite or hematite in the center, and then there's kind of opaque white over here, and then clear, kind of what I'm sure is quartz, and then kind of like a grayish blue hue on the outside. So that'll be fun to identify, and I love stone specimens that contain multiple minerals because they can usually, I don't know, they just have like a different energy. They can serve multiple purposes. Yeah, and again, I love finding them in unexpected places. So I will identify this, and then this will be listed on the store as well. And then, so finally, Everything had been. This is actually my second attempt at making this video because I decided to try and make my first video during Mercury retrograde. You know, at least that's what I'm suspecting. It didn't work the first time. So everything had been contained in this amazing little treasure chest, and I'd been pulling things out of the treasure chest as I went. And I didn't feel like putting it all back in there, so I didn't. But this is the last item, and it's going to be my next large altar kit that I list on the store. And I think it is so cool. This is a vintage hope chest. It was made by a family member of the dealer that I bought it from. He said that it arrived from a different country. I forgot what he said. I feel really bad. There were a lot of people around at the time, and I didn't want him to think I wasn't listening, so I didn't ask him to repeat himself. But it was somewhere in Europe. I don't know. But anyway, it's just really well loved, and it has a lot of personality. It has this, like, vintage, like, embroidered ribbon adhered to it, and it's covered in copper relief etching. And even the hardware, it just has such cool little details. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but let me see. The latch has some sort of bird of prey on it. It might be a hawk, and hawks are, they hold a special place in my heart. So I felt like I had to get it. I was just called to it. And I'm really looking forward to curating a really cool kit in this box. Making altar kits is maybe my favorite thing to do for the store, even though it's mostly just curated pieces, just because, like, the feeling like I have that sort of collaboration with another practitioner, and being able to provide them with magical tools, it feels really good. And the kind of feedback that I've gotten from people who have ordered kits before, like, I've heard that it felt like, you know, a package from an old friend, that kind of a thing. And that just warms my heart. To me, that's kind of what it's about. Like, I'm a solitary practitioner, but being able to be involved in another witch's practice that way just makes me feel really good. So that's that. And if you want to give me just a minute, I will go and fetch the last item, which I am keeping. I just want to show somebody because it's so rad. Anyway, hold on. I'm back. Okay, so this is maybe the best $6 I've ever spent. I found this piece in another antique store. There should be like a drinking game. Like, every time I say antique store, take a shot. It's where I spend a lot of my time. But anyway, I found this, like, handmade brass and copper cuff. I thought it was so cool. It looks like armor or something. I was actually really surprised just now that I had to go grab it because I hadn't taken it off in, like, days since I got it. But it is so cool, and I'm so honored to have it. If anyone out there, I doubt it, but if anyone recognizes it, because it has no maker's mark or initials or anything on the inside, great work, and thank you for putting this piece out into the world for me to find and cherish. I love it so, so much. Yeah, so anyway, that is all. Those are my finds, my treasures from my trip, which will soon be listed. So anyway, again, thank you for joining in. I do intend on making more video content in the future, so if you're interested in seeing more from me at all, I mean, I plan on doing a lot of different things. I plan on doing informational videos for Sabbats and, you know, tips for the burgeoning witch and things like that, and I will likely also do hauls and so forth. So yeah, feel free to subscribe and click the bell icon thing below so that you are alerted to when I post new content. Okay, anyway, so thanks again. I love you all, genuinely, and I'll see you later.